Hello everyone and welcome to class. This is going to be an all-around flow. So we're going to target the whole body and it's going to be around 45 minutes. Get a mat and a couple of blocks. And we're going to start laying on our blocks. We're going to bring one closer towards the end of the mat in the lowest setting and one either in the lowest setting or medium setting closer towards you. You might have to adjust them as you come to lay down on them. So the first one, we want to position it at the end of our shoulder blades, more or less, of course. And then the second one will serve you in whatever setting you need it to support your head. If it feels good to have your throat open, then you can move the block out of the way and allow the head to drop all the way to the ground. So take a moment to find a position that doesn't feel painful, that doesn't feel too uncomfortable. And then bring the soles of the feet together and have the knees wide. Make sure that the block is underneath the shoulders, that it doesn't come into the lower back or all the way towards the neck. And then open your arms wide to the side. And we're going to take just a few moments here, allowing the front of our torso, the front of our body to open, allowing ourselves to step on the mat, to arrive in this moment with not just our body, but with our mind too. Starting to connect with the breath. Maybe you take a scan through the body. Become aware of anything that comes up, any discomfort, any tension that you might be holding. And as you start to deepen the breath, you invite space into the body, space in those areas where you felt the need for them the most, for these big breaths. Inviting a sense of presence. And take a moment to set an intention for this practice. Where would you like to bring your focus? Is there any qualities, anything in particular that you want to attract, invite as we're moving around the mat? Is there anything perhaps that you wish to let go of, that doesn't serve you anymore, that you just want to release? Allow this intention to become clear in the mind. And then together we're going to take a big breath in and a full exhale out. Very nice. Now bring the hands behind the thighs, gently guide the legs together. And very gently, very slowly, you're rolling away from the blocks and onto one side. And from there, push the floor away and come all the way up into a seated position. We can move the blocks towards the front of the mat. We might need them later. And we're going to bring actually the soles of the feet on the ground, knees bent. And we're going to take a variation of cat-cow here. So we're going to grab hold behind the thighs, behind the knees. And with the inhale, we're reaching the heart forward. With the exhale, we're slowly moving in the opposite direction, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, come forward, expand your heart. Exhale, round. Very nice. And again, inhale, squeezing the shoulder blades in together. Exhale, rounding the spine, allowing the shoulder blades to move away from each other. Beautiful. One more time. Well done. And then come back through center, cross the ankles or swing the legs onto one side. We're going to come into a kneeling position. And if you wish to bring a stretch into the soles of the feet, then you can tuck the toes and sit here. If this is a bit too intense, don't worry, keep the toes untucked. Now, we're gonna focus on our shoulders or on our upper body for the first part of the class. So we're gonna bring that right arm underneath the left. We're gonna come into eagle arms. If this position is not available, then grab hold of opposite shoulders and hold here, still with the right arm underneath. If it's possible, bring the back of the hands together or the palms together. Wherever you are, even if you're hugging the shoulders, then bring the elbows in line with those shoulders and away from the chest. Very nice. Keep the back of the neck long. Stay with your breath. Beautiful. And then release. Open the arms wide into a cactus shape. Allow the chest to expand towards the front. And then left arm underneath the right. Either you're grabbing hold of the shoulders or you're finding your option of eagle arms. Wherever you are, like before, elbows in line with the shoulders and then away from the chest. So you're feeling again that protraction of the shoulder blades. That means the shoulder blades are coming away from each other. Beautiful job. Breathe. And then with control, release the cross, open the arms wide, find that cactus shape. Well done. And then come all the way forward into a tabletop position. If your toes were tucked, take a moment to beat them on the floor, bringing the energy back into your feet. Beautiful. Now, we're gonna inhale to reach that right arm up towards the sky. And exhale, thread it through underneath the left, coming on top of the right shoulder, sorry. And you can stay as you are. You can have the left arm reaching forward, or you can find perhaps a half bind, bringing that left arm behind your back and towards the right thigh. You are pressing the ground with your right shoulder, with your right arm. Very nice. And then release, left hand underneath the left shoulder, push the floor away, right hand up towards the sky, and then all the way back down on the mat. Same thing, left hand reaches up. And then exhale, thread it through all the way towards the right side. You can stay as you are, or right hand reaches forward, or half bind with your right arm reaching behind the back and towards the left thigh. Breathe fully here. Very nice. With control, release, right hand underneath the right shoulder, push the floor away, left hand up towards the sky, and then all the way back down on the ground. We're gonna move into an active puppy pose. So from here, take a big step forward with your hands. And we're gonna start, instead of collapsing straight away to the ground, we're gonna keep it active. So we're gonna push the floor away with our arms. The shoulders are gonna naturally elevate up towards the ears. And instead of rounding or arching the spine, we're finding the neutral spine with a bit more of an engagement. So drawing the ribcage in. Very nice. Keep breathing. Notice how it feels in the body, where you feel it. And then we're going to transition into that more passive variation, allowing the forehead to come towards the ground, the spine to arch a little bit more. Perhaps the chest comes all the way to touch the floor. Maybe you're bringing the chin on the mat. Beautiful. Keep the hands where they are. Start to roll all the way forward with control. Releasing the thighs, the hips, the belly, and the chest all the way down. Well done. We're going to bring the hands onto the outside of the mat. We're going to come up on our fingertips. We're going to keep them more or less shoulder height. And then keep the feet pressing down, the legs and glutes active. Tuck the chin to chest, start to roll your torso up. Stop wherever is enough for you. And where you are, lengthen the neck. And then with control, release all the way back on the mat. And again, a couple more times like this, rolling up, opening the chest. And then all the way down. One more. Inhale, lift and expand. Find your space. There shouldn't be any pain into the lower back. So if there is, lower. Lift up. This time, right shoulder comes all the way towards the midline, dropping down. And then back through center. Left shoulder in towards the midline. Once again, come back up. Right shoulder comes down. And then all the way back through center. One last time, left shoulder. Come all the way back up. And then release everything down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, push the floor away. Hips towards the heels, tuck the toes. And then reach the hips up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. And I invite you to take a few movements here. Pedaling through the knees with your legs. Maybe a sway of the hips side to side. Stretching the sides of the torso. Finding a bit of extra movement for a bit of extra space into the body. And then we're coming back through center, finding our downward dog, pressing through the hands, arms extended, neck relaxed. The spine is long. We're looking for that length. So if you're feeling that you're rounding, that there's not much of that length, then allow the knees to bend, the belly to move back towards the thighs, the tailbone to lift up towards the ceiling. It's okay if the heels don't touch the ground. Very nice, big breath in. Full breath out. Bend the knees, look towards the front. Take a big step to the top of the mat. Feet underneath the hips or even wider if needed. Keep the knees bent, grab hold of the elbows. Find a gentle sway, side to side. Keep the head heavy. You can nod no, yes. Moving gently the neck and letting go of any unnecessary tension here. Come back through center, drop the hands down. Keep the head heavy as you slowly roll yourself all the way up to standing, up into your mountain pose. And once you're here, roll the shoulders up towards the ears, all the way down and back, palms facing forward. And again, we take a big breath in, a full breath out. Oh, beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen strong. And then hands on the ground, left foot steps back. Reach the arms up towards the sky, find your high lunge. Now I want you to bend the back knee, finding that reform variation of high lunge. So if you need to shorten the stance with your front foot, do that. You're bending that back knee, you're finding posterior tilt of the pelvis, so tuck the tailbone under, bring the ribcage in, keep the arms reaching up. Grab hold of your left wrist while keeping this position. Lift, lengthening through the sides of the torso, and then lean slightly towards the right. Make sure the front knee especially is not collapsing in. You're still keeping that tuck of the tailbone. Come back through center, release the hands down, step back, downward dog. Roll yourself forward, find your plank, knees on the floor are welcomed, and then with control, you're making your way down. Reach the arms back, lift the chest, lift the legs, simple locust. And then hands underneath the shoulders, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, left leg reaches high. Exhale, knee to nose, step the foot forward, reach the arms up towards the sky, high lunge. Same as before, we're gonna bend the knee, finding that reform variation, posterior tilt, tuck the tailbone, arms are reaching up, grab hold of the right wrist this time, lift up, and then lean towards the left. Nice, deep space into the side of the body. Come all the way back through center. Bring the hands down. Step all the way at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. With control, dive forward. Inhale, halfway up, shoulders in line with the hips. And then exhale, hands on the floor. Right foot steps back. Reach the arms up, high lunge. This time, both arms forward, right hand stays, left hand reaches back. So we're twisting towards the left, towards that front leg. Very nice. Keep the legs strong, the knees not collapsing. And then left hand on the back of the thigh, right arm up, finding a reverse. Beautiful. And then cartwheel the arms forward, step back, downward dog. Roll forward plank, with control down. Inhale for baby cobra. So you're lifting just the chest. The hands are light so that you can easily lift them up. Try that. Beautiful. Then hands underneath the shoulders. Push the floor away. Downward facing dog. Full breath here. Inhale, right leg reaches high. Exhale, knee to nose, step your foot forward. Reach the arms up, high lunge. And then arms forward, left hand stays, right hand towards the back. Finding your twist. Strong legs, using your core to rotate. And then right hand on the back of the thigh, left arm up. You're finding a reverse high lunge. Then cartwheel the arms forward, step all the way at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. And then down into your heart center. Well done, big breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, hands on the ground, step back into plank. Inhale here. And exhale all the way down on the mat. Inhale for Sphinx, elbows underneath the shoulders. Exhale, tap the toes, forearm plank. Inhale here. And exhale with control, thighs on the ground, open your chest. Inhale. Exhale, forearm plank. Inhale here, stay. Exhale, release with control. Beautiful, one more time, inhale. Exhale, lift up, forearm plank. Breathe in. Breathe out with control, release, open your heart. Inhale here. And exhale, hands underneath the shoulders, downward facing dog. With your next inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. Bend the knee at a twist. And then let's take some big circles with that right knee. As wide as your body allows. The rest of the body remains as it is. It's just the knee that draws these big circles. And then reverse direction if you haven't already. Just a few more. Well done. Reach that knee up towards the sky and then allow that right shoulder to lift up as much as needed. So to feel a stretch once again into the side of the body. Very nice. Recenter yourself. Extend that right leg. Bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And then all the way back and up. Knee towards the right upper arm and then lightly step the foot out wide. So onto the outside of the right hand as wide as the mat. Bring the back knee down. And then let's grab a block or two underneath our hands. And you can place it in whatever setting you need. Now, we're gonna allow some circles with our torso. So we're gonna move out to the side, back towards the mat, towards the leg and round up. So imagine that you're moving your body like if it was inside a jar, scooping all the goodness from the sides. It might feel a little bit weird, that's okay. Stay with it. Reverse direction. Beautiful. Well done. Now, come back through center, move the block out of the way, hands, or actually, you can keep them underneath the hands. We're gonna move into a variation of half splits. So if you're tight in the hamstrings, blocks underneath the hands are very useful. Inhale here. And exhale, send the hips back. Now, hold here. And I want you to send that right hip a bit further back. So your foot is gonna slide a little bit towards the back. I want you to keep it there. And then as you're coming forward, your right knee will pass over the ankle. We want that. We want that for this practice. Send your hips back. And then come forward. Two more like this. All the way to the front. And then back. And to the front. Very nice. Now lift yourself up. Torso comes in line with the standing knee, with the back knee. And we're gonna reach the left hand towards the left ankle, on top of it or just onto the outside on the mat, okay? So you're reaching that hand back, you start to extend that right leg, and you're reaching that right arm all the way above the head. Very nice. Breathe here. Beautiful. Now, with control, we're gonna come all the way to sit at the back onto the inside of the left heel. Okay, so we're here. And we're gonna find a bit of hip mobility. So we're gonna lift that left knee up. We're facing the long side of the mat. And then with or without the support of the hands, you're lifting up into Skandasana side lunge. You can lift that left heel. You can lift a little bit higher with your torso. Find the option that works for you. Hands on the ground or into your chest. We're gonna move all the way to the front of the mat. Very nice. And then we're moving once again all the way towards the back. This time, right hand on the ground, right heel lifts. And then left hand reaches up towards the sky. We're gonna start to come onto the outside edge of both feet. And if this is a bit too intense for the front leg, step the foot a bit more towards the middle of the mat into the long side. And then we're gonna come onto the outside edges, dropping the hips down, left hand back. Press the floor away, lift the hips high, left hand, left arm above the head. One more time, drop the hips. Actually, let's do it 2 more. And then lift up. Beautiful. One last one. Drop the hips, reach the hand back, and then lift up. Lift the hips. Left hand comes on the ground, you're stepping back into downward dog. You're still facing the back of the mat. You have the option to stay here or to roll forward and take your choice of vinyasa. Locust Cobra or Chaturanga to Upward Dog. I ask you to move with control. Don't compromise the form. If you're coming into Upward Dog, those thighs are lifted off the ground. You're not sinking into the lower back. Very nice. Take a big breath in. A full breath out. Inhale, left leg reaches high, bend the knee, add a twist. Strong here. And then start to draw big circles with that left knee. Still pressing the ground with both hands. Reverse direction if you haven't already. A few more. Beautiful. And then reach the knee up towards the sky. The heel drops closer towards your bum. And then you're gonna open towards the left, allowing that left shoulder to lift high. Recenter yourself, extend that left leg. Exhale, bring the knee in towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And then all the way back and up. Knee towards the left upper arm, and then lightly step the foot onto the outside of the hand. If it doesn't land there, bring it there. Bring the back knee down, and actually take a moment to reach back for the block and bring it forward, or blocks. You're gonna have them underneath your hands, whatever setting you need them. And we're gonna take a few circles with the torso like before. So once again, you've been dropped in the good jar of good stuff, and you're trying to scoop all the yummy Nutella, vegan chocolate, peanut butter, jam from the sides. Reverse. Beautiful. And then come back through center. You can keep the blocks underneath the hands, otherwise move them away. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, send the hips back. Like we did before, I want you to send that left hip back and drag that left foot further towards the back as well. With your next inhale, come forward. The knee will pass over the ankle. We want that. And then back. And again, come forward and back. 2 more. And back. One last one. And back. Very nice. Come all the way to the front. And then lift the torso upright. In line, hips are coming in line with your right knee. Same as before. Right hand will come onto the ankle, heel, or onto the outside on the mat, okay? So from here, and reaches back, left arm above the head, extend that front leg. You're engaging the glutes, so the front of the body stretches, the back of the body strengthens. Very nice. And then with control, we're coming all the way to sit on the ground onto the inside of the right heel. And then a bit of hip mobility. We're gonna lift that knee up. We're gonna face the long side of the mat. With or without the help of the hands, you're lifting into Skandasana, side lunge. With or without the hands on the ground, you're moving all the way to the back. Beautiful. And then once again, we're moving forward, right, left hand on the floor. Your left heel lifts, right hand up to the sky. Like we did before. Right foot, we're gonna come, to both outside edges of the feet. But maybe that right foot comes towards the back of the mat a little bit more. Drop the hips down, reach the fingers back. And then lift up, lift the hips, right arm above the head. And again, drop, reach back, with control, press the ground, lift up. One more time, release the hips, reach the hand back, and then all the way up. Right hand on the floor, left heel lifts, and then you're stepping back, downward dog. Option to stay, or to roll forward and move through a vinyasa. Remember, if you're in upward dog, those thighs are lifted. And then you're moving back. Downward facing dog. Take a moment to come back to your breath. You can stay in your downward dog. You can come into child pose. You can come into a seated pose just for a moment. You have a chance to sip some water if needed, or just to come back to your intention. Reconnect with your breathing. Notice your body, anything that comes up, without any judgment. Allowing anything, everything to come up and to pass through you. We recognize, we accept any emotions, any thoughts, and we let anything that doesn't serve us, that is not of any help in this moment, we let it go. As we recognize this emotion, we also recognize that we don't need them, some of them. One more breath where you are. Make your way back into downward dog if you weren't there already. Then bend the knees, look forward, step or hop lightly to the top. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Reach the arms all the way up towards the sky, down into your heart center. Well done. Now, bring the feet hip distance. We're gonna bend the knees and reach the arms up, chair pose. The knees are tucking over the toes, they're not collapsing in towards each other. Neutral spine, neutral pelvis. And then with control, you're gonna come all the way down through a squat into boat pose. Now, listen carefully. We're gonna, the legs can stay bent, or you can extend them for an extra challenge. We're gonna open them wide so the arms are reaching forward. And then you can stay here, or you can extend the legs, spine long. We hold with all the shakes and wobbles you might experience for 4. For 3. You've got this. For 2. For 1. Back into your boat. Well done. Cross the ankles or swing the legs. Step or jump back. Your choice of vinyasa. We're meeting back. Downward facing dog. Well done. With your inhale, right leg reaches high. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose. Step the foot forward. Come up, warrior 2. So back foot parallel to the short side of the mat. Arms are wide, reaching in opposite direction actively. Torso stuck on top of the hips. External rotation in that front thigh. So once again, the knee's not collapsing in. You're keeping it strong. Flip the front palm, reach forward, inhale. Exhale, reverse, front knee stays bent. Once again, we're feeling that stretching to the side of the torso. Beautiful. Come all the way forward. Bring the hand in front of the foot. And maybe you grab hold of a block. You're gonna take all the steps forward that you need until you can lift up. We're coming into half moon. Just a quick note on your alignment. That right hand, even if it's on the ground, you want it underneath the shoulder. So that both sides of the torso can be equally long. And then left hand reaches up. Embrace all the wobbles, all the falls that might happen here. They're all part of the practice. If you're falling, that's okay. Take a moment to come back, to try again. Very nice. Now, soften that front knee with control. Step the left foot back and then extend that front leg. Bring that front foot parallel to the short side of the mat. So both feet are parallel to each other. Then bring both heels in slightly. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to come down into goddess pose. Hands are going to be onto the inner thighs, your palms onto the inner thighs. The fingers are pointing out. You're not excessively sticking your butt out. You're not tucking the tailbone under either. You're finding more or less a neutral pelvis here. And then with this in mind, we're going to press onto the inner thighs. We're going to bring that right shoulder into the midline. We're going to look past the left. Well done. Back through center. Left shoulder into the midline. You're looking past the right. Beautiful job. Back through center. One more time. Right shoulder comes forward. You're pressing the thighs. You're feeling that stretching to the groin. And then back through center. Left shoulder comes into the midline. Well done. Come all the way back through center. Extend the legs long. Bring the feet parallel to the short side of the mat. Open your arms wide. Inhale. And exhale. Fold. Grabbing hold of the ankles, the outside edge of the feet. Inhale, come halfway up. And then start to walk all the way towards the back of the mat, lifting that right heel off the floor. Now, we're going to come into side plank. You have two options. First one, supported variation. Right knee on the floor, right foot out, left foot at the back. Or outside edge of your right foot, left foot on top, hips are lifted here. And then wherever you are, reach that left arm all the way towards the front of the mat. Lift the hips high. Beautiful. With control, center yourself. Plank pose, your vinyasa, or straight to downward dog. Well done. Big breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, left leg reaches high. Exhale, knee to nose, step the foot forward. Come up, warrior two. Open the arms wide. Keep them active, reaching in opposite direction. Feel it all the way into the fingers. Keep that front knee bent, that rotation outward of the thigh. Inhale, flip the front palm, reach forward. Exhale, reverse. Front knee stays bent, front thigh stays rotating slightly towards the outside. Beautiful. Come all the way forward, hand in front of the foot, or maybe you're grabbing hold of a block. It's all the way in front of your toes. So once again, that hand is underneath the shoulder. You're lifting that right leg up. Embrace all the wobbles, all the falls that might happen here. Keep the back leg active. Your whole body is open towards the long side of the mat. So especially if you're not using a block, try not to have the chest collapsing towards the floor, closing down. Breathe. Very nice. Start to bend that front knee with control. You're making your way back into warrior two. Then extend that front leg. Bring that front foot in. And then both heels in towards each other. Bend the knees, goddess pose. With this time, we're going to add some crunches. So we're going to interlace the fingers. We're going to bring them at the back of the head, elbows out wide. And from here, we're staying in our goddess pose. We're bringing right elbow towards right knee, left elbow towards left knee. And then again, and up to the left, and up. And again, 3 more times each side. Trying to keep the chest open. Beautiful. 1 more time per side. Well done. Extend the legs long. Bring the feet parallel to the short side of the mat. Bring the hands interlaced behind your back. Inhale, lift and open here. Exhale to come all the way forward into a fold. Arms are reaching above the head towards the floor in front of you. You can keep a softness into the knees if needed. Try to keep the spine as long as possible. Stay with your breath. Very nice. Release the hands down on the ground. Inhale, come halfway up. And then all the way towards the front of the mat. Lift that left heel off the floor. And then supported side plank. Left knee comes down, foot out, right foot at the back. Or outside edge of the left foot, right foot on top. Hips are lifted. Wherever you are, whatever variation, right arm reaches above the head. Very nice. Hips are staying lifted. Then with control, center yourself plank. Option for one last vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. Big breath in, full breath out. Bend the knees, look forward, step or jump to seated at the top of the mat. Beautiful. So, we started our class focusing on our upper body, on our shoulders, on our arms, on our chest. We continue keeping that, but adding the focus into our hips, into our legs. And then just now towards the end, we kept the focus on hips, but we added a little bit of extra core with our side planks, with our crunches, right? We're gonna finish with a few more poses focus on our core, and then we have our Shavasana. So, from here, we're gonna come into boat. We're gonna lean back, spine long, chest open, legs are lifted. And then we're gonna come down, low boat. Here, your upper back, your shoulders are staying up, and then we're gonna rock the boat. Legs are staying together. You're moving the pelvis side to side. I know, I feel you. Keep rocking. For 5. For 4. For 3. For 2. And 1. Hold here. And then release. Coming all the way down to lay on your back. Now make sure you have a bit of space behind you. We're gonna come into our plow pose. That means our feet are gonna be reaching behind our head. And then from there, we're rolling up with control, transitioning into a forward fold at the front. We're gonna do that 3 times. So from here, reach the feet behind. It's okay if they don't touch the floor. You can keep the hands to support your lower back. And then with control, slowly start to release vertebra by vertebra all the way onto the ground. Reach the legs forward first, curl up, and then all the way into a seated fold. Very nice. Lift yourself up with control. You're releasing down. You're reaching the feet behind. Hopefully you have a bit more space than me. And then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, you're releasing the spine down. Reach the legs forward, then curl up. Lift yourself. Reach towards the front. 1 last time with control. Lower down. Feet behind your head. Very nice. And then slowly start to release. Reach the feet forward. Lift yourself up all the way into a fold. And then one last time, you're rolling all the way down on the mat. Very nice. Have a wiggle of the hips side to side. Now, bring the feet underneath the knees, the heels underneath the knees. So it's okay, they might not be all the way attached to the butt. That's all good. That's what we want. Feet can be hip distance, a little bit wider, and then palms on the ground. We're gonna come up into a bridge pose. So inhale, imprint the spine, and exhale, start to lift the hips up towards the sky. With control, release, vertebra by vertebra, all the way back down. Find your neutral spine. And then inhale to imprint. Exhale to lift up. The arms are coming all the way above the head. All the way on the floor behind you. Engage your glutes. Lift the hips. Breathe. Very nice. And then slowly release all the way down. Bring the feet as wide as the mat. Drop the knees in towards each other. A couple of breaths into neutral spine. Very nice. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then drop them both towards the right. You can adjust the hips so they're in line with the rest of the torso, with the shoulders. Your left arm opens wide to the side. This is your second to last pose. This is our mini cool down before our Shavasana. Start to come back through center. And then you can adjust again the hips a bit more towards the right, so that when you twist the legs to the left, the hips are in line with the shoulders and might feel a little bit nicer. Right arm opens out wide or into that cactus shape. Chest remains open. You start to let everything go. You start to invite softness into the body. And then once again, bring the legs back through center, knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug, big squeeze. Giving yourself appreciation for showing up, for being here, moving your body, connecting with your breath, with yourself. Well done. When you're ready, let go of your legs. Open your arms wide, take up as much space as you need. We're finding our Shavasana. Allowing the body to surrender completely on the ground. Letting everything go. Any effort. Any unnecessary tension. Allow a sense of relaxation to come in through your feet, all the way through the legs, into the belly, into the arms and shoulders, into the neck, into the face. And give yourself permission to find a place of stillness and stay here for a few minutes so that your body can rest and you can soak in the whole practice. Feel free to stay as long as needed here. Thank you so much for joining me. Until the next time, namaste.